Donald Trump just fired a Federal Reserve governor, spitting in the face of the Supreme Court. Could this trigger an economic meltdown? Stay tuned. This is Wild. Welcome to Lebo News, where we slice through the chaos to deliver the truth. Today we're tackling a bombshell: Trump's attempt to oust Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors, a move that defies a rare Supreme Court warning. This isn't just about one person. It's about whether Trump can hijack the Fed, the institution that controls your money. We're diving into why this matters, the economic chaos it could unleash, and whether the Supreme Court's conservative justices will stand firm or crumble. Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the Federal Reserve. It's the powerhouse that sets interest rates, tames inflation, and keeps jobs flowing. Think of it as the economy's thermostat. Too hot, and prices skyrocket. Too cold, and businesses freeze. The Fed's independence is sacred because it's supposed to make decisions based on data, not political pressure. If a president like Trump could fire its leaders at will, they could manipulate the economy for votes, leaving us all to deal with the fallout. Case in point, back in 1971, President Nixon leaned on Fed Chair Arthur Burns to slash interest rates before his re-election. The economy roared in. 72, Nixon won big, but the bill came due. The 1970s brought stagflation, high inflation, stagnant growth, and misery for millions. Economists still point to that as a warning. A politicized Fed is a recipe for disaster. If Trump gets his way, he could juice the economy for short-term wins, leaving us with soaring prices or mass layoffs down the road. So why is Trump targeting Lisa Cook? He claims it's for cause, alleging mortgage fraud, saying she listed 2 properties as her primary residence. But let's be real. This is a flimsy pretext. Trump's thrown similar accusations at political foes like New York's AG Letitia James and Senator Adam Schiff. It's a pattern, not a principle. The real issue: Cook's part of the Fed, which is supposed to be untouchable, even by the president. This brings us to the Supreme Court. Last May, in Trump versus Wilcox, the court's 6 Republican justices said Trump could fire leaders of most independent agencies, like the National Labor Relations Board. But they drew a line at the Fed, saying its leaders are protected because it's a uniquely structured quasi-private entity tied to the historical tradition of the first and second banks of the United States. Confusing? Absolutely. It's legal jargon that even lawyers struggle to decode. The point is, they said Trump can't touch the Fed's leadership, yet here he is, testing that limit. This clash is headed for a showdown in Cook versus Trump. The core issue is the quote, executive theory, a favorite of the court's conservative justices. It comes from the Constitution's line that the executive power shall be vested in a president. In 1988, Justice Antonin Scalia argued this means all executive power belongs to the president, so no agency head should be shielded from firing. The current justices have leaned into this, letting Trump fire other agency leaders. But their Fed exception feels arbitrary, like they're picking and choosing based on what suits them. Here's where it gets juicy. The justices' reasoning for protecting the Fed is shaky, but it's not hard to see why they did it. Even they know a politicized Fed could tank the economy and their own stock portfolios. High interest rates kill growth, low ones spark inflation. Get it wrong, and we're talking skyrocketing prices or job losses. Investors and economists are watching this case like hawks because the stakes are massive. But can we trust these justices to hold the line? They've been criticized for bending over backward for Trump. Some even say they've acted like loyalists to the GOP. In past rulings, like one granting Trump broad immunity, they've shown little spine when it comes to checking his power. Their Fed exception might just be a convenient way to sound principled without actually stopping him. If they back down in Cook versus Trump, it's open season on the Fed's independence. So what happens next? Cook will almost certainly sue to keep her job, and the case will rocket to the Supreme Court. If the justices stick to their Wilcox ruling, they'll block Trump's move. But if they fold, it's a green light for presidents to meddle with the Fed, risking economic chaos for political gain. This isn't just about legal theories. It's about your grocery bills, your mortgage, your job. A politicized Fed could mean higher prices, fewer jobs, or both. We're at a crossroads. Will the Supreme Court finally draw a hard line against Trump's power grab, or will they let him rewrite the rules? This case could shape the economy for decades. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think the court will do? Hit that like button if you're as fired up about this as we are. And subscribe to Lebo News for more deep dives into the stories that matter. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep questioning everything.